Chris Gotti has just lit a fire under Ashanti, blasting her for staying silent after Irv Gotti's shocking death. The man who once helped launch her career is gone. And instead of comfort, Chris says Ashanti turned her back on the very family that made her a star. Fans are furious. Sides are being taken, and the industry is asking one question. Did Ashanti really abandon Irv in his final chapter? Or is there more to this story than Chris wants us to believe? When it comes to hip-hop history, the Gotti name is stamped in gold. Irv Gotti and his brother Chris built Murder Incorporated Records from the ground up, taking artists like Ja Rule, Ashanti, and others straight to the top of the charts. Their influence in the early 2000s was undeniable. Platinum hits, sold-out tours, and a dynasty that rivaled the biggest names in the game. But with that empire came controversies, betrayals, and fractured relationships that never seemed to heal. Now, with Irv's sudden death shaking the industry, those old wounds are back in the spotlight. And this time it isn't about chart success or record label wars. It's about respect, loyalty, and the silence that cuts deeper than any diss track. Chris Gotti, grieving the loss of his brother, didn't hold back when he called out Ashanti for not reaching out. His words weren't just emotional, they were explosive. He accused her of turning her back on the man who gave her a platform, who fought for her career when the world doubted her. In an emotional interview, Chris revealed that one name in particular was missing from the calls, texts, and messages of support: Ashanti. According to him, her silence spoke volumes. While fans, artists, producers, and even rivals sent condolences, Ashanti, one of Murder Incorporated's crown jewels, never reached out. And in his eyes, that wasn't just a minor oversight. It was betrayal. Chris framed it as a matter of respect and loyalty, stressing that no matter what personal issues existed between Irv and Ashanti, the bond of family and history should have outweighed all of that when death came knocking. The reaction: explosive. Social media lit up instantly. On one side, fans rushed to defend Ashanti, saying that after everything she endured under Irv's shadow, the lawsuits, the public humiliation, the years of tension, she had every right to protect her peace. On the other, critics accused her of being ungrateful, of erasing the very man who put her name in lights. To Chris, Ashanti's silence wasn't just about a missed phone call. It was about rewriting history, about refusing to acknowledge the man who had once been at the center of her success. And that's where the debate becomes much more complicated. Because the truth is, Ashanti and Irv's relationship wasn't just business. It was messy, personal, and filled with drama that still lingers. And that's why Chris's words cut so deep. But to understand why this silence stings so badly, we need to rewind. Back to the rise of Murder Incorporated, the peak of Ashanti's career, and the scandals that eventually split them apart. 2 decades ago, Murder Incorporated was untouchable. Hip-hop and R&B were colliding like never before, and Ashanti was right in the middle of it. With her angelic voice and undeniable charisma, she quickly became the label's breakout superstar. Songs like Foolish and Happy, along with her collaborations with Ja Rule, dominated the charts. By 2002, Ashanti wasn't just an artist. She was the face of Murder Inc. And behind that rise was Irv Gotti. He wasn't just her label boss. He was her mentor, her protector, and according to years of rumors and Irv's own words, something far more complicated. For years, speculation swirled about whether their relationship was strictly professional or if it crossed into something personal. Irv himself admitted in interviews that he and Ashanti had a romantic connection, though Ashanti rarely addressed those claims. But success and alleged love don't always mix. The federal investigations into Murder Incorporated, the pressure of fame, and the growing tension inside the label began to tear everything apart. By the mid-2000s, Ashanti started to distance herself. Irv lashed out publicly, accusing her of disloyalty and abandoning the label. Lawsuits, feuds, and bitter words followed. Irv painted Ashanti as ungrateful, while she mostly stayed quiet, rebuilding her career independently. So when Chris said Ashanti's silence after Irv's death was disrespectful, he wasn't just talking about a missed condolence. He was speaking from years of history, years where the goddess felt they built her career, only to watch her walk away. But was Ashanti wrong to stay away? For years, she endured public humiliation at the hands of Irv's interviews, where he detailed personal aspects of their alleged relationship and dragged her name into headlines. For some, her silence now isn't betrayal, it's survival. Ashanti was placed in a no-win situation. If she reached out publicly, critics would accuse her of being fake. If she stayed silent, she'd be called ungrateful. For her, silence may not equal betrayal. It may be the only way to protect herself. And there's another angle, trauma. When someone has publicly shared intimate details about you, accused you of betrayal, and dragged your name for years, reaching out in their death may feel impossible. For Ashanti, keeping her distance may have been an act of self-preservation. But hip-hop culture values loyalty. Fans still see Ashanti as part of the Murder Incorporated family. And when family suffers a loss, silence stands out. Chris's outrage reflects that expectation. No matter how messy things got, some gesture should have been made. And that's why this story cuts deeper than gossip. It's about how Irv Gotti will be remembered. For some, he was a visionary who created an era-defining sound. For others, his legacy is tangled with ego, scandal, and the way he treated people. Chris's outburst wasn't just grief. It was an attempt to protect his brother's legacy. But the backlash proves something. Legacy isn't written by one person's loyalty. Fans are openly debating Irv's character, weighing his genius against his controversies. For Ashanti, silence may be her way of closing the chapter. For Chris, speaking out may be his way of keeping it alive. And for fans, it's a battle between respecting history and acknowledging harm. The truth is, Irv Gotti's story and Ashanti's story will always be linked. Chris's comments only remind us of the pain that still exists between them. Whether Ashanti was right or wrong, the real tragedy is that even in death, Irv's name is still surrounded by division instead of unity. So now the question is yours. Do you think Ashanti was wrong for staying silent, or was it justified self-protection? Drop your thoughts below because this story is far from finished.